When I first heard of inertia as this year's theme, I'm going to be honest with you, I had to do a quick Google search because I didn't know what the word meant. I found that inertia is defined as the tendency to do nothing or to remain unchanged. Unchanged. What a tricky word in a world that is always changing. Oftentimes in someone's life, nothing remains unchanged. You grow, you learn, you have new experiences, and find a new way to interpret your life. See, that's how, even if everything stays the same, everything kind of changes. However, looking at it, constantly changing is also an aspect of remaining unchanged. When I reflect upon my life and who I am today, and where I grow and change as an individual, sure, I would say that my friends, my family, my school, and my surroundings all shape and change me. However, the one place where I grow the most consistently, learning skills and attributes of mine, is through one thing: team sports. And that is the idea that I strongly believe is worth sharing with all of you here today: the importance of team sports for teenage development. How many of you have played on a team sport at some point in your life? If you have, then I'm sure that you'll agree with me that it's left an impressionable mark on who you are. I'm sure that everyone is well aware of the basic benefits of sports. Exercise reduces cortisol, which in turn reduces stress, etc. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk specifically about team sports. Team sports, while I may not have noticed it at the time, changed my life. Aside from the physical benefits, such as better physical and mental health, they offered me a range of diverse skills and experiences which I still learn from, benefit, and implement today. There are 4 main ones that I want to share with you. These are community, emotional development, communication, and commitment. Sports in any form are undoubtedly a super important part of everyone's life. However, an aspect that team sports provides that others do not is the social interaction. Being on a sports team means that you train with the same group of girls or boys for as little as 1 to as many as 7 times a week. The diverse pairing of personalities allows athletes to become adaptable, patient, and persistent. You may not always click with everyone on your team. You may not even be friends with them outside of the sport. You may not even like them. But being able to put aside your individual differences and collaborate towards a common goal is vital to team success. This holds true for the academic and professional world as well. You'll always encounter people who have different values, morals, and beliefs than you do. But being able to put those aside and work together is an important skill to learn. Moreover, team sports are an excellent source of soft skill development as they allow athletes to grow within a supportive environment. Personally, when I think of my varsity girls volleyball team, I don't think of players. I think friends, family, a second home, a sisterhood. These girls know everything about me, and they've seen me in every state: tired, stressed, mental, nervous, excited, at 6 a.m. in the morning, after school after a long day, some even at 11 p.m. at night. And that's what happens when you spend multiple hours a week training, growing, and learning alongside each other. Team sports provided me with a natural community, a place to belong, and it incubates the perfect setting for critical self-esteem development. A part of being in this community also means that you need to keep healthy relationships with each other. As most sports are mentally challenging at times, you experience people in their states of distress. This year, for example, we traveled to Abu Dhabi to participate in a tournament called the Middle Eastern South Asia Conference. Our games were played with high intensity and high stress, as we were undefeated that season, and we felt this huge pressure on our backs. There came a time when we all started to mess up and get in our heads. We didn't trust each other, we didn't rely on each other, taking passes away from each other and passing easily over the net. But then there also came a time when we said, stop, let's snap out of it, let's play cohesively as one team, as one unit, and we ended up winning the tournament. There, we learned trust, leadership, and self-regulation for the sake of team success. It can be these little uplifting comments such as, don't worry about it, you're doing great, or it's fine, you got the next one, that can really help shift the mood on court and change the course of the game. That is, however, the last thing that you think about when you yourself are frustrated with your own performance. And this is where the self-regulation comes in. Being able to think positively and optimistically in a time when you yourself are stressed is an important skill to learn. It's a process, however, and you constantly need to learn and grow and develop it. For example, this year on our team, we had a girl who struggled with this aspect of self-regulation. She was undoubtedly one of the best players in our team, yet struggled to contain herself and would constantly lash out at other players for mistakes that they made. Together as a team, we talked about how we can help her communicate in a positive way, how we can help her regulate her emotions, and how we can help her break her inertia. Next, communication. Communication is key. It's a phrase that you will hear repetitively on court. Communication skills are key in maintaining a functioning sports team, whether it's listening to team huddle pep talk, picking up on nonverbal cues given throughout a game, or expressing a thought during a post-game debrief. I think that it is the key to team success. A team can consist of individually amazing and talented players, but only when you come together and communicate, which allows you to play synchronically, does it work out. After a game, we would often have these debriefing sessions where we talked about what went well and what didn't. There's two main things that you learn during these times: listening and expressing. Of course, it's difficult to sit there and listen to other players talk about mistakes that you've made or things they want you to improve upon. But being able to be open and receptive to this feedback and constructive criticism is an important skill to learn. Contrasting, you learn how to express yourself. It's not what you say, but how you say it. It's a cliche saying, I know, but it really holds true. Being able to give feedback in a direct and efficient, yet kind and gentle manner is also a skill that you develop. Last but not least, commitment. It takes a lot of effort to show up every single time, whether it's morning, regular, or late night trainings, whether you're tired, whether you're stressed, whether you had a bad day, you need to show up not only for yourself, but also for your team. Practice makes perfect. I'm sure that everyone has heard of that saying, but you don't grasp that in its entirety until you're in practice rehearsing the same serve over and over again. But that is exactly what it teaches you. A lot of times in life, there is no shortcut. There is no easy or quick way to do things. You have to take the main road. And it takes a tremendous amount of effort and commitment to be there every single time, practicing until you perfect it. This level of stick it through until it's done is something I haven't been able to find in any other aspect of my life. Right now, I'm going through what is considered to be the most difficult and trying time of the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. And whilst many of my peers are struggling with the mountain of work ahead of us, and rightfully so, I believe that this skill of sticking it through has helped me deal with it a little bit better. When I was little, of course, there was times when I hated the coach or hated the sport or was just genuinely frustrated and I wanted to quit. But today, I am so extremely grateful for my mom for encouraging me to stay with it. I would also like to touch upon the important role that parents play in this furthering of self-development. Sports team participation has been on the decline for a while now. The Aspen Project found that now only 38% of teenagers participate in team sports compared to the 45% who did in 2008. So, this means that there's an abundance of teenagers who are missing out on this critical part of self-development and improvement. So please, encourage your children to participate. And if they're very little, just sign them up for something. Help them find something that they love. Because seeing the way that team sports has positively impacted my life and those around me is something I wish upon everyone. Thank you.